What's going on, YouTubers? My name is Robert Serrano Jr., Natural Born Driller. Welcome everyone to WWE NXT Review, the show from November 21st, 2018. Your commentators were Mauro Renaro, Nigel McGuinness, and Percy Watson. They were in Los Angeles, California, where it pertains to NXT after TakeOver WarGames 2. Basically, this is a follow-up of what happened with NXT on WarGames 2 from Survivor Series weekend. Or should I say NXT TakeOver WarGames 2 from Survivor Series weekend. So let's get right into it. The show opened up with the NXT TakeOver WarGames 2 highlights of the matches that took place on basically everything that took place on that show. Pretty good highlights of it. What pertains to Candice Ono versus Matt Riddle, a match that came out of nowhere. The NXT Women's Championship 12-3 Falls match. The Aleister Black versus John Gargano match. The NXT Championship match. And finally, WarGames 2. We'll get to all that as we go through the show. So, the first match opened up for this show was Keith Lee versus this jobber from 205 Live, who was from wrestling on 205 Live in the tag team match against Akira Tozawa and the great, the Brian Kendrick, not the great Brian Kendrick. But he is great too, always. But anyways, this guy, he was wrestling on 205 Live, and his name is Fidel Bravo. Who is he? I have no idea. But basically, Keith Lee wins. That's to say about the match. Keith Lee dominated the match, obviously. Then we get to the NXT Women's Championship highlights between Kairi Sane, the challenger, versus the champion, Shayna Baszler, where they show everything that happened on the show there. Where it pertains to the highlights of what happened in the match, with the whole thing with Jessica Duke and Marina Safari, and the whole thing with Dakota Kai and Io Shirai coming out as well, and the whole spots that happened where I didn't get to mention where I did the review for NXT TakeOver WarGames 2 was Kairi Sane going for a DDT spot onto Shayna Baszler on their ring apron, the harsh part of the ring. And also with the whole thing with Kairi Sane doing her insane elbow on the outside onto the four horsewomen and Shayna Baszler, Jessica Duke, and Marina Safari, and that was a cool spot too. That's another thing I didn't get to mention too on the show that where it pertains to NXT TakeOver WarGames 2. And you already know about the results of it. Shayna Baszler retained, and there you go. So after the whole thing, they show an exclusive interview after that match that Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler had, where Shayna Baszler was being interviewed, and she also, obviously she's being accompanied by, Jessica Duke and Marina Safari, and I think it's Marina Shafir. I think that's but I'll remember when we get to mention her name again. But Shayna Baszler, she was being interviewed and all that, and nothing to say about the interview. There was nothing happening in the interview other than she told everyone that she's going to retain the title, and that's basically it. Then we get to the knockout debut highlights, where it pertains to Matt Riddle, where he did a knockout to the knockout artist Candice Ono, where it pertains to that opening impromptu match that came out of nowhere for NXT TakeOver WarGames 2, and they show something about them confronting each other at the pre-show. Who gives a fuck about the pre-show? Based on what WWE did with Survivor Series 2, by the way. Ridiculous. So Matt Riddle, basically he was interviewed saying he's speechless. He one of the fastest knockout in NXT history, and there you go. Basically where it pertains to TakeOver. So Lars Sullivan, he had a match against some guy. They didn't bother mention his name, but Lars Sullivan wins. Needless to say, and basically he cuts a promo after the match saying that This is a warning to anyone that gets in his way. And he wants to become the NXT champion. Basically, he wants a shot at the NXT championship, which by the way, it makes no fucking sense because while he announced this, knowing that Lars Sullivan is going to be making his debut on the main roster pretty soon at WETLC. So making this these accusations that he wants to go out to the NXT championship. How's that possible if he's already getting a call up to go to the main roster? But basically, after the match, he had an insult to injury to his opponent, and all of a sudden Keith Lee shows up and pounds him out of the ring. So I'm assuming this could be the where this could be one of Lars Sullivan's send off, and what better way to send him up to the main roster than to face up against Keith Lee, who's who's big, he's who's large, who he can measure up against Lars Sullivan, and this could be a way to rile Lars Sullivan out of NXT because he's gonna be moving up to the main roster. Where is he gonna go? I have no idea yet. Because they haven't fully mentioned who he's going to be signed up with, either Raw or SmackDown. But either way, we'll see how the weeks priors when he does get called up to the main roster. And yeah, again, he's going to be at TLC. So from there, we'll find out if where Brain's going to be on, either Raw or SmackDown. In my opinion, he should be on SmackDown. We see the Johnny Gargano versus Aleister Black highlights of their match from NXT. And then after the match, ultimately Aleister Black winning the match against Johnny Gargano. I don't know what to say about this. About their highlights. I think I pretty much cover about what they did in the match. Not everything, but just the things that I thought was good. But yeah, but then afterwards, Aleister Black has been interviewed. He didn't actually answer the interviewer's question. I don't know who she is, by the way. She's new. She's a blonde chick. And she's Caucasian, so I don't know who she is. But also Aleister Black goes up to Candice LeRae. I mean, he bumps into Candice LeRae. Candice LeRae walks away from him, and Aleister Black didn't care. Just he kept on walking. Because he knows, that's in their friendship. So there you go. Then we get to the NXT Championship highlights, what pertains to the NXT Champion, Tommaso Ciampa versus the challenger, the Velveteen Dream. And basically what pertains to these highlights, folks, they did some pretty good highlights pertains to this, and this is what I look forward to. What pertains to the NXT after the takeover shows on these regular shows of NXT is the highlights. Obviously, I love watching these highlights, especially when they put in theme songs and some cool music to go with it too. That's the best thing about these highlights. Not just seeing the highlights of the matches, but just to also listen to the music too, and that goes with the action of these highlights. And there you go. And then after the highlights, they show Keith Lee and Lars Sullivan, basically a pull apart. They didn't actually fight backstage, but they were basically we had securities and officials are ready to pull apart against these guys. They they basically trash talking to each other from across each other, and there you go. That's gonna be the feud for Lars Sullivan before he leaves NXT to go to the main roster. And may God have mercy on his soul when he gets to the main roster. And I say that to really wish him luck, because he's gonna be just like the rest. He's gonna be buried. It is what it is. And finally, we get to a WarGames 2 highlights, where it pertains to Undisputed Era, where it features Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and Adam Cole, baby, versus Pete Dunne, Ricochet, and Warriors, which features Hanson and Rowe. And the highlights that they did with this one, pretty damn good. this was the longest highlights out of all the highlights that they show for the show, because obviously this was the longest match on the show for Takeover WarGames 2, and this ended up being the longest highlights for the show on the regular NXT show, for the NXT after the WarGames 2 of it that they have for Takeover. And some highlights I didn't get to mention on I did the review for NXT Takeover WarGames 2. For example, Pete Dunne was fighting against the Undisputed Era from the second ring, where he was surrounded by Undisputed Era, and he's like beating him up, like fist, it's like watching Batman fighting against these cronies of these crony villains from DC Comics. Another highlight I want to mention too, by the way, was the whole thing where they're opposite side of the ring. You got how can I say this? The dysfunctional War team versus the Undisputed Era team, and they're all getting up. They're all slowly getting up. They're all helping each other up and all that, and they're all walking towards each other, looking at each other from across in the respective rings, and they get out of the ring, and they're on obviously on the steel plate, on the steel thing, and the apron basically. Anyway, when they're still staring each other down, and they all find each other, and like that it's like watching something from for whatever movie it is that where it takes to a standoff, like one of these all war movies. It was awesome. But in the end, the War Raiders, Pete Dunne and Ricochet is winning the match afterwards. And after seeing the highlights too, by the way, they showed that it was not just a regular 450 splash from the top rope. No, it was actually a springboard 450 splash by Ricochet after where Pete Dunne did the bitter end onto Alan Cole, which he didn't get all of it. But then Ricochet comes out of nowhere with the springboard 450 splash onto Alan Cole. And the reason why I say that, by the way, is because the camera didn't get that angle at the live show for NXT Takeover WarGames 2 when Ricochet did that. They kind of completely missed it. So that's why they had they show the highlights of this, where it pertains to showing on another different camera angle to see Ricochet doing a springboard 450 splash, and then in the end, they won the match, with Pete Dunne and Ricochet pinning Alan Cole, both of them pinning Alan Cole, baby, and there you go. And then finally, the main event match, we get Nikki Cross versus Candice LeRae. This was a damn good match. Candice LeRae and Nikki Cross, basically there's heat between these two, because Candice LeRae is accusing Nikki Cross for ruining the life of Johnny Gargano. Basically not just his life, but her life too, because wherever it affects Johnny Gargano, it affects her life too, because Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae are married, obviously. So, but either way, folks, it makes no fucking sense anyways, because Candice LeRae is going after Nikki Cross about Gargano ruining a lot, for Nikki. Basically, Nikki Cross is ruining Gargano's life, but Gargano was the one who attacked Aleister Black. Aleister Black was attacked, and Nikki Cross witnessed it. Again, this makes no sense unless they're doing a heel turn for Candice LeRae. That would be a different story, but that's not what happened at all. Candice LeRae never turned heel. In a way, folks, it just made no fucking sense. But whatever. But the match itself was pretty damn good, and then in the end, Nikki Cross gets the win over Candice LeRae, and there you go. And that's the main event. Talking about wrestling for NXT, 3 matches. My overall rating for the show, I'm gonna go 7.5 out of 10. So that being said, thank you all for watching. Yeah, thank you for watching. So if this is your first time watching me, my name is Robert Serrano Jr., Natural Born Driller. Please subscribe to me if you haven't done so right now. And if you enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up or give it a thumbs down. The choice is yours and yours alone. And with that being said, you all take care and peace on the streets. I'm just saying.